Hey everyone, it's Kathy Zilski for Simon Says Stamp, back with another installment of Easy with me, CZ. Today I'm going to show you how a simple repetition of a die cut can make a really sweet little card design. Let's take a look at the products I'm using today. Here's a look at the products I'm going to be using today, and it's starting with my CZ Design Season's Greetings stamp set. These are all a typewritten font style for many different seasons throughout the year. So it's not Season's Greetings as in just holiday. There's holiday down here, Halloween, fall, school, summer break, all sorts of greetings in a very small, little, subtle font. Love that. And then we're going to use the Simon Says Stamp Mini Faux Envelope. This is such a tiny and cute little die. We're going to make some little white envelopes, and we're also going to use some colorful paper for a note card panel. This is a really easy way to make something that has a lot of color, but yet keep it very simple. Let's get started with some die cutting. I've got my Intri-Cut die cut machine here, and this is a piece of 80-pound Neenah Classic Crest in the Solar White. I wanted something lightweight that was going to be a little bit easier to fold, and I've got my machine set on the die cut setting, so we'll just run this through. And lift up our paper, and we've got one little envelope with the score line, and I will go ahead and cut 5 more of these out. Next, I'm going to pick a piece of this beautiful craft papers from Craft Consortium, the Ink Drops Candy. I've had this pad for a while, and there are just so many beautiful colors in here. This is a great way to use up pattern paper that you have been hoarding or coveting. There's just so many pretty patterns in here, and I think, well, let's see, they all have a little bit of this almost gold look to them. Let me see here. There was one, oh, I love that. It's so dreamy and pretty, and I think that is the piece I'm going to use. And then I'm going to cut my panel from this piece of paper. So let me grab a die that will give me a nice size. I'm going to use my Master Layouts 2 from Gina Designs. This has a beautiful stitching layer. I don't know if I'm going to use the matte layer that goes with this yet. I often don't know until I start designing. But as you can see here, I am going to, let's widen this out a bit. I'm going to run this through and cut this panel so that I have a pretty panel for my piece. And now I have this beautiful panel with a little stitching. All right, moving on. I am going to take the smallest little heart die here, and I'm going to cut out, I don't know, I think I might do lavender or pink. I'm not quite sure yet, but let me find a little scrap of cardstock that will match this pattern paper. I think a little bit of this doll pink is going to look great. So I will cut out 6 little hearts, and then I will have those ready for sealing my cards. I didn't think to cut a panel and do the hearts out of the center, so a smarter way would be cut the hearts out of the center, but I'm going to do the matte panel as well, and we'll see how this looks. I may or may not use it, but I'm going to go ahead and have this cut out so that if I want to have a matte panel, I will have it in this dull pink. All right, moving on. Now all I have to do is make my little envelopes, and you can see there's that little score line in there that's going to help me fold that down. You can fold one, give it a nice press here. I'm using my Teflon bone folder from Simon Says Stamp. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Again, using that score line, pressing that down like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of adhesive to hold these together. So I can actually just use a little liquid glue. Liquid glue, I'm going to have to put a little brick on it just to hold it in place. So let's see here. I'm going to say a little here and a little here. And this is just some Connect glue. We'll just put some here like that. Let's see, how do we want it to be? I think I like the top folding over. And then I'm just going to hold it until it has adhered, and I will put a little pressure because that, you know what, that might actually take a stronger adhesive. I'm going to use some of this tape because this is a little stickier. And even though my cardstock is pretty lightweight, I feel like it is going to need to have something a little stronger to hold that flap down. So I'll use this little double-sided tape like that. And then when I fold that down, that should hold better. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hold that. And once I know that's firmly in place, then I'll go ahead and add my little heart right on top to make my envelopes ready to go. For this, liquid glue will be just fine. Again, we're going to pop that right over the seal, hold it in place, and there is one envelope. I will go ahead and do all of the envelopes off camera, and then we will design the card and add a greeting. I went ahead and glued my pretty panel onto a layer of the dull pink, which matches my hearts perfectly. And what I'm going to do is just stamp a little greeting from this set to coordinate. So I've got my MISTI here, I've got a sticky grip mat in here, and I'm just going to pop this down. And I think I'm going to do Sending So Much Love and place that right here in the middle. I'm not going to emboss, I'm not going to do anything super fancy. I'm just going to stamp this in black ink. So I've got my little ink cube here. This is just a Gina K Designs black onyx cube. I will ink it up, and even though it's a brand new stamp, I think it will stamp perfectly. I'm not going to put much pressure on. I'm just going to do it a couple of times because it's such a small font. Really just drop it and tap, and that looks beautiful. I'm going to even go one more time and tap. Let me grab a die so I can cut this out. I'm going to use this little sentiment strip die to go ahead and cut this out, and then we can build the card. I cut one more layer of this strip sentiment just so I can glue this to the back of my little greeting and give it a little more heft and dimension. Okay, wiggle that in place. And now I can build my card. Got a piece of Neenah Classic Crest Solar White in the 110 pound, and I'm going to score this at 5.5 to make my top folding note card. Fold that down and give it a press with my Teflon bone folder. I'm going to tape this closed so that it will stay flat while I'm adhering my elements. Got some Simon Says Stamp Big Mama foam tape on the back. This is a lower loft foam tape, which is kind of nice to add a little dimension, but not too much dimension. I really like this tape. And I will pop this right onto the note card. That. Just going to put some magnets here on my board right here to hold my piece in place, because I'm going to be using my ruler to line these up, but I want to make sure that I have spacing that I like. And if I start with the lower row, then I think I know, well, no, I'll start with the top. So I think that's a nice position. I kind of want to have the same space at the top that I have at the bottom. So let's just play with that a little. I think that's going to be nice. All right, and now what you can do, set this aside for now. I'm just going to use my ruler to perfectly place these. So I'll get my liquid glue ready, pick up an envelope, put a little bit on the back to hold this in place. We'll just pop this down, holding my ruler, and then I can press right up against the ruler. Get my spacing nice, and I can even look at the ruler itself. Oh, it's sticking. So that this will allow me to count over from the edge if I want, but really, I'm just going to eyeball this, hold that down, and butt it up against Oh, now I am a little. I got to be over a little more. There we go. This is why I like the liquid glue, because you do have that wiggle time to figure out your placement and get it right how you want it. Then once you have the first one laid down, you can just go and do the rest. You can also do it from the top to make sure all three are lined up there. So again, we'll go ahead and place these down, making sure that this is lined up perfectly on the left. Here, like that. So just kind of eyeball your spacing and wiggle it into place. Bring that right there. Get that lined up right at the top. And the last one slots right there. Nicely lined up. Oh, it slides. The liquid glue. There we go. So now I have my envelopes in place. Just get that right nicely centered. Keep the spacing about the same. Drop it down, and again, I can use my ruler to make sure that is straight. And that is my simple card project featuring a really lovely pattern paper with little repeating heart envelopes going all the way down the card. I think this is a really fun way to repeat a die cut and then keep it very clean and simple at the same time. Thanks so much for watching today. You can find links to all of the supplies I used in today's card video below in the YouTube description box. You can also find a blog post over on the Simon Says Stamp blog.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.